All right, welcome to our second session of our football presentations of the 2021 NMOA State Clinic. A couple reminders about Zoom etiquette. If you can keep yourself muted at all times, unless asked a question. If you do have a question, feel free to put it in the chat, and we'll make sure that Dana or myself will read off those questions, and our assigners can answer those questions. And last but not least, because we didn't go over this, absolutely no what if questions. If you have a what if question, save it for your pet iguana or something. But those what if questions are usually unanswerable. So here, with that, Dana Pappas.
Hello, welcome back, everybody. I was going to say, if you have what if questions, go ahead and save those until after July 31st, because I won't be here. I'm totally kidding. So welcome back. And as you saw in the intros, we were slated to have 3 of our assigners with us, but David Briseño he's got a family commitment that he had to attend to. So as you know, we want you all to do that when you have family stuff. Take care of family, absolutely. So we'll catch up with David at a later date. So our assigners that we have with us this afternoon, and the reason we're doing this is, throughout every season and every sport, our office gets a lot of questions kind of about what are assigners thinking, what are assigners, what's their philosophy, all of that stuff, and we're not in their heads. So we wanted to give an opportunity for you as officials to kind of hear from your assigners and hear some of the answers to the questions that we get over the course of a season. So we do have 2 of our assigners here with us this afternoon. We've got Leonard Longhorn, who is our Northwest Regional Assigner, and Mike Rendell, who is our Southwest Regional Assigner. And Leonard, I think, just ran in off the field from a scrimmage. So Leonard, I'm glad you're able to make it. And Mike, thank you. I know you've been awake since about 4 o'clock this morning. So I appreciate you being here with us today as well. It's already ready for you to go to bed, but that's okay. So we'll go ahead and jump right in. Nate and I will be asking a series of questions to the assigners. And then if you have questions at the end, feel free to unmute and ask them if we've got time left over. So Nate, I'll let you kick us off.
Hey, I find that 4 a.m. comment funny because Mike always knows that if he needs anything done arbiter-wise or rulebook-wise or anything, he can contact me at the same time, and we usually do most of our business before 6 a.m. So
I do not apply in that scenario.
Yep. So, all right, and we're going to kick this off, and really, I just want to kind of start this by saying that, assigners probably have the toughest job in any association. And yes, Dana and I and Dusty and Sally, and we put in our work, but the assigners, they're getting it from all ends, right? They're getting it from Sally and Dana, myself, Dusty, but they're also getting it from athletic directors and coaches, and not only that, from their officials, and really, you have to commend their hard work, because when they are in season, they are working 24/7, and still, because of the shortage of officials, always scrambling and always trying to do something. So for that, any opportunity you have, thank your assigners, because they truly do a great job, and they get all the complaints because somebody's not happy about their assignment or whatever the case may be, but you have to think about all the things that they're having to do. So they're not singling you out. They're just, it's a busy time. So with that, Mike, we'll start with you. Please give us a brief introduction of yourself, including how long you've been a football varsity regional assigner, and if you had any assigning experience prior to taking the position.
Yeah, I'm Mike Rendell from the Southwest region. A lot of you guys know me from here in the area mostly, and some guys from around the state. This is going to be my 3rd year being a varsity football assigner, the 2021 season, hopefully. And prior to that, I was the below varsity assigner for a number of years here in Cruces, along with the group leader in football. Prior experience, and as far as being an assigner, I was a assigner for baseball, varsity and below varsity before they start having a regional assigner in all sports and all regions. And I'm still the current below varsity assigner and current baseball group leader for the Las Cruces area. I was a baseball assigner back in the 80s as well for baseball. And I've done some quite a few years, like say, at the below varsity level.
And Leonard, same goes for you. You know, how long have you been a regional assigner, and what kind of prior experience did you have before that?
So first off, Mike owes his strings because he mentioned a different sport. So, but I started the regional. I was assigned a regional assigner in 2018. Prior to that, I was the Farmington group leader, kind of like Mike, but not as long. For the 2017 season, I took over halfway through the season. Our group leader moved, so you know it's kind of a vote of who wanted to or who had time to, and you know felt the need to step up, and so I took over that position. But yeah, so it's kind of been limited, you know, 3 or 4 years if you count this last spring, and yeah, that's about it. I only had a couple of years football officiating experience prior to that, and a handful of years of the other sport that Mike mentioned prior to that. So
Thanks, Leonard. So we'll reverse order this time and start with Leonard. As an assigner, what are your expectations for the officials who you assign? I know you have a lot of them, so.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I asked my kids that. I was like, hey, what do you think my expectation for my officials are? And their eyes got big and they're like, yeah, they're pretty high, but yeah, it kind of made me laugh. But you know what? You know, I expect them to be good people first and foremost. You know, football is a secondary, you know, thing, but you know, you got to be, you know, I want you to be a good dad, good mom, good parent, good employee, and then you know all of that transitions over into the football field. So you know, taking care of things, you know, outside of football, you know, registering on time, you know, paying your dues, going to state clinics, going to clinics, you know, football clinics in the off season, you know, things like that is what I expect of my officials. And you know, you know, I think I need to lead by example, and that's you know what I do my best to try to do. And so, you know, feel sorry for my guys, but you know, I have high expectations for them. But you know, I'm out here sweating in July, working 7 on 7 with them. So, you know, that's kind of what I got from them.
And Mike, same question for you. What are your expectations for your officials?
Okay, my expectations are to be prompt and attend the local meetings. Like Leonard said, state clinic and district, but local meetings, we all need to go to local meetings. And when we're in the meetings, we don't need to just go in there and sit, we need to participate. Everybody needs to participate because I'm sure something is happening in a game that they worked the week before that they have questions on and they're afraid to ask them. Well, don't be afraid to ask the questions because if you can't find a rule of reference in the rule book, I'm sure in the meeting somewhere, we can help you understand what the play was, and maybe we can find the answer to satisfy what you want. Take the test, take the test, have it done in plenty of time. Don't wait for the last minute and then try to rush around and get the answers to finish up the test. If you're taking a test and you run into questions that you just have a real hard time understanding, there's plenty of guys to reach out to. We can do it in the meeting, we do it on a phone call. I mean, now with Zoom, I know everybody's tired of Zoom, including yours truly, but that's what we have. And we can do a Zoom meeting with 2 or 3 of us, and we can talk about what the play is, what the rule is you don't understand, and see if we can give you information, give you rule interpretation, find the rule in the rule book to help you understand it, not just for us to tell you, so you can actually read it, and then that way you'll see it in black and white. Expect the officials to keep your uniform updated. We know with our uniforms, with the material they're making now, the white, after a couple years, times it turns gray or in some cases yellow. We need to keep that updated and try to keep your uniform. The pants, I know it's expensive for dry cleaners, but try not to have your pants wrinkly when you go out on the field. I mean, I've seen some officials been doing a long time, And I don't think their pants have ever been out there without a wrinkle on it. I think the first presentation, your shoes are shined, your uniform looks good. I mean, you stand tall, you're sharp. I think that makes a big impression. It's just like when you're going for a job, uh, first impressions of the coaches and stuff like that. And just work hard at all the uh, different parts of the officiating. Like say, attend the meetings, participate, keep your uniform up good. Don't be a guy that, hey, we're leaving at 5:30. We're leaving at, say, 4:30 for a 5:30 game and starting at Hatch. Don't be there at 4:45 and make the whole crew late. My philosophy on that in the past few years is this train leaves at 4:30. If you're not there, you're on your own. Because you're not going to make the rest of us late because you can't be prompt. If there's sometimes I know people have something comes up and if they communicate, hey, I'm going to be a couple minutes late. Okay, we can wait a couple minutes, but we're not going to wait 15, 20 minutes because of making the rest of the crew late for the game. Because last thing we want to do is show up to the game late. Because if we show up late, that means, in my view, it shows we're not ready. And so we had a week or 2 weeks. We've had this assignment. We know that we need to be prepared. As the referee, white hat, make sure you communicate to your crew what time we're leaving, any questions, any kind of issues you're going to have getting to the game on time. If somebody's going to have to go later because they can't get off of work and they'll be there at, say, on their dime, well, that's fine. But just make sure we have good communications with the crew and do the best job you can every week. And if some officials give you some kind of constructive criticism, like your evaluators, I know I don't like it. It depends. I shouldn't say I don't like it though. I don't like the way sometimes the message is delivered. I emphasize in people, it's not so much the words that you use, it's how you deliver them. And I think we're all trying to work where people can accept that what your message is, and then they can apply it there. Because I think any message that's delivered in any atmosphere in life, it's how the message is delivered is how it's going to be accepted. So I'm sorry, Dan, I got long-winded there.
No, you're good. You're good.
And
Yeah.
before we get into the next question, really, Mike touched on something about being prompt, and let me tell you, and especially in the sport of football, these assigners are waiting for you to register because the whole season of planning is based off of how many officials they have. And trust me, they've been asking me for updated lists every week for the last month and a half. And if you haven't registered yet, they don't know if they can count on you. And look, we all know that there are financial burdens and reasons why you may not be able to register right away, but this is the NMOA family. We'll work with you and we'll make sure that the assigners know, hey, this person's going to get registered. In fact, we just, I'll unlock you on the arbiter and then we figure it out from there. But be prompt with your registrations because, if you're registering, 2-3 weeks prior to the season, well, Leonard and Mike here have already started, putting crews together and scheduling, the first half of the season. And if you're late to the show, then chances are you're going to miss out. And so just those are the little things, I know that our other sport presenter last night, like that, Leonard, I don't miss that one. Our other sport presenter last night, she talked about, be that official that's reliable and that these assigners can count on. And that's the very first step is register on time. And after that, everything falls into place. So with that, I'll go back to Leonard. And what are some of the biggest challenges of being an assigner, and how can officials in our state help you overcome some of those challenges?
Kind of what you and Mike touched on, being prompt, because I have, I don't know, 3/4 of my football crew not registered yet. So, and it's not like I don't reach out and talk to them. I'm texting, calling, whatever, every day. Seems like that's all I do to get guys registered. So, and with that, getting guys registered and recruiting, it's kind of the biggest challenge of, covering games because everybody wants to play on Friday, nobody wants to play on, Saturday, Sunday, which I understand, but when I only have a limited number of guys to officiate in this area and in Gallup, it sucks, but some schools are going to have to work on or play on Saturday, Sunday, or Saturday and Thursday. So and to me, if you're not going to register on time, and it's kind of, I don't know if I can count on you or not, but if you have, it goes back to my expectations of if you're on a crew, that's your family until the 1st of November. So you guys are going to be with you working games for 11 weeks, maybe longer if you're working in the postseason. So if you enjoy that time and you had a blast last spring working with your crew, you're probably going to register on time, and your crew's going to push you. They're going to should have started, back in April, like, hey, make sure you guys register, that way we can get our rule books, get study, Zoom calls going, meetings, whatever we need to get ready. So, that's the biggest issue I have up here is recruiting and getting the guys to register on time.
Mike, same question. What's some of the challenges that you're running into there in the Southwest?
Well, I'll piggyback on what Leonard was saying. Some of the challenges that I see, I'm always trying to get some people on board, and I had a couple of new guys that graduated from Oñate a couple of years ago, and they hadn't registered yet. And I think I've talked to you a couple of times, Nate, about that just this week. And one of them finally got back to this morning, and he got a full-time job, and he's going to start going to school. And the other one says, "Oh, I forgot about it, this and that." So I had him there for a year, and then we had this layoff, and then now they've gone on to find some other job. So the challenges of bringing people in and keeping them, the college kids are the ones that it's not all the ones we're after, but that's a lot of the ones we're after because they're younger. We figure they have a lot further, if they stay with it, they have a lot longer career doing it. Challenges are just everyday stuff. At the last minute or the day before, something will come up in their family, and then I'll have to pull them off a game. And then certain games you can put you don't want to put young officials on a big game. So somebody on a big game comes off, well, then it's a challenge for you to go back in and remove that official, take another official off of that game and put them on this game, and then find a spot, fill that spot with a younger official on the other game. It's challenging. It's just you're trying to stay ahead of the game, and you get on there and you look at your schedule and you see all these empty slots that haven't been filled yet, and you look over and you have no bodies to fill the slots with. And so I tried to get Dana and Nate to fill a couple games last year, but they declined the game, so I had to go back the way we have to do it. And some of the games I called Dana and or text Dana or email Dana and told her that I need some help assigning games, and she moved the game to another area. And then I was able to help one of the other assigners on the east side where he got in a bind. He didn't have officials, and we were able to help them out. But just challenges like that to make sure we get the games filled every week.
All right, so we've talked about challenges, we've talked about expectations. We all do this officiating thing, and we're in this world because there is some passion involved, obviously. So as assigners, what are some of the biggest rewards in your position? And Mike, we'll go ahead and start with you.
Well, some of the biggest rewards is when you get somebody that just started and they were real nervous about doing it first, and you see them progress. You put them in bantamweight games, and you put them in a middle school game, and then you get them in a ninth grade game, and you put them in a JV game, and then eventually get the varsity, and you see how they grow. And that's a reward. And then you tell them that, look, you have to do this, you have to stay in the state clinic, you have to do all these things. And they start doing what you ask them to do. And you see them progress, not only as taking care of the administrative part, but you see them progress on the officiating parts on the field. And they'll come back. A lot of them, the new guys that come in, they'll come and they'll bombard you with questions, which is fine. We like all those questions. And then what I usually do, I try not to just answer the question for them. I say, well, let's write the question down and let's get in the book and see if we can find an answer to that. And so that there's a reward when they come back to you and they ask you for input, and you can show them at the meeting, and you can just see how they grow from year to year. Like I said, I haven't been the regional assigner for football for very long, but I've been doing this a long time. And I've seen a lot of young guys that come in over the years and how they've graduated and they've got with different officials. And I always tell officials, listen to what everybody has, input they have. Now, if that input, as long as it's in the guidelines of the rules and the mechanics, if it works for you, do it. If it doesn't work for you, don't just throw it away. Hold on to it, because someday it might work for you. And so if they listen to that and they take it, and then they'll say, hey, I remember this some time back. J.U. Wells told me this, and I tried it on this game and it worked for me. So just little stuff like that. The small rewards, there's no huge reward, or we don't want huge rewards. We just want to see progress on our young officials.
Mike, Leonard?
Yeah, so the same thing Mike said. I mean, just watching an official grow, especially when they bring you questions, ideas, and you can come back and talk about. I could probably talk 30 minutes on one rule or one play by itself. Sometimes I have to cut myself off, but just to see the light bulb come on it, in their eyes when you're explaining something, giving philosophies, things like that. That's a rewarding part. And then seeing them come back and attend district clinics, state clinics, be postseason eligible, they tell me, hey, Leonard, I want to move up and work a state championship. That's goals for them, and you want to help them and, guide them to, work in a state championship or whatever. Because, I was in their shoes 2-3 years ago. So, I had guidance and I had to help and to get where I was at. So, just go back and help and watch them grow. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and before we get into that next question, I think you brought up something that, you want to help them reach their goals. Dana and I have multiple conversations with officials all the time, and either they're unhappy with their assignments, they're not reaching their goals. And the very first thing that we ask them is, well, have you talked to your assigner about your goals? And 90% of the time, 99% of the time, it's, well, no, understand that your assigners truly want you to reach your goals, but if they don't know what your goals are, and you haven't had that one-on-one communication with them, then how are they supposed to know? I mean, yeah, you work hard. Yeah, you take the test. Yeah, you're doing all the right things, but so is everyone else. Have the communication with your assigners, and they're going to help you. As Leonard just stated, they want to, and Mike, they want to help you reach that next level, and whatever that level is. So thanks for that, Leonard. So the NMOA is in need of individuals that are looking to serve as white hats, okay, both now and in the future. Obviously, that is probably our position that we are shorthanded the most. What qualities do you feel an official must have or possess in order to become a white hat?
I'll go ahead and take this one.
Mike, you can take that, yeah.
Leonard or me?
Oh, Mike, go ahead.
Okay. I think anybody has the qualities. It's just if they're going to put the time in. It's like anything. Are they into the book and then learn the rules? Are there any penalty enforcements? Are they on time? A lot of stuff that we've talked about earlier. Are they prompt? Are they keep their uniform intact? Are they a good listener? Are they a good communicator on the football field? How are they with their coaches? Just a lot of little things add up to one. I worked the back judge for a long time, not to get off track here, but I think I was one of the most active back judges in the state, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but you've got to be active and you've got to be there to help your white hat nonstop. So if you show that you're involved and you're always participating and you'll come up and give you 2 cents on something that you think is might be misapplied at the time, I think that goes a long way. But you need to have, like say, all the things that we've talked about earlier, and you got to show desire. But I think one of the biggest things is you got to know the rule. You've got to know the rules, and you got to know the penalty enforcements. Because on Friday nights now, all of our games, the last few years, and even more so now, because we got it approved that I'll let Dana get that out later when she feels the appropriate time, that we're all going to be able to have our films now. So if there's a rule that's not being applied right, or a penalty's not being enforced right, that's all going to show up. And of course, there's going to be mistakes. I mean, it's going to be mistakes, but just have all those qualities and be able to apply them on the field, I think is mandatory.
Leonard?
Yeah, I'll second that. Mike was one of the better back judges in the state, or ball relay guys, as I call them. But some of the qualities that it takes to be a white hat, you got to be a leader, because you're going to have 4 guys that are, look up to you and look for you for advice. Sometimes counseling. I mean, you're going to have guys calling you on a Tuesday with an issue from, homework, whatever, just to, you're going to be that ear that they're going to, want to spill everything to. Communicator, you got to be a great communicator, whether it's logistics going to a game, when you're leaving. It's nice to have a crew guy that will help you with that, but that doesn't happen all the time. So, you're going to have to lead and communicate, and, and the things that Mike touched on, you got to be a communicator with the coach, the players, administration. You got to let them know when you're going to get there. You got locker rooms, showers, whatever. Of course, rule knowledge. Big thing I'm kind of harping on this year is game management. I want my guys going back to the basics. We got to be good at the basics before we try to further along in our officiating stuff. And, counting 11, making sure we're on the right down, things like that. It's kind of what we're working on today. But yeah, like Mike said, anybody can be a white hat. When I started, did I ever think I was going to be a white hat? No, but kind of got thrown in there, and you have to adjust. Yeah, I had to get in the rule books. I had to study mechanics. I had to know where everybody was going to be. So, and then up the game on your leadership level and your communication, and there's only positive things ahead. So it's only going to make you better as a person and an official.
So
I hope
Leonard,
that answers the question.
it does. And I'm actually going to go off script for a second. Our assigners got these questions, so they had a little time to prepare, but I've given Leonard 0 time to prepare for this. So I apologize for just throwing you straight under the bus. But over the past couple of seasons, I've had the opportunity to be around your crew for both a state championship game in 2019 and then one of the bowl games here in Albuquerque during the spring. I think it was the spring. And your crews that you were working with on those games talked to me a lot about how pre-gaming with you is like a clinic, and how much they learn just from the, basically the 48 hours or so prior to the game. Can you run us through what you do for your pregame for high school level contests? Because it's been something that I've heard really good things about, and I know you've been trying to do that region wide, and I really admire and respect what you're doing. I'd love for you to kind of share that with the football officials.
So the way I prepare the week of the game is, I kind of want to make sure we're prepared for everything. So I'll start out with an agenda, pregame sheet. I'll send it out to the crew, let me know where the stadium's at, what time we're leaving, what time we expect to be there, who's playing, the coaches. I'll spend 30 minutes to 45 minutes on max preps, scouting each team. So that way we're aware of, who's the top running back, who their quarterback is, their name, year of school, if they have height, weight, all that stuff, I'll put it in, and, a positive quote on there, like, hey, we're here for a reason, whatever, whether it be, Tom Landry, Vince Lombardi, something, it could be The Rock. I don't know. It just depends on, what I'm feeling that day. But, I want to keep it upbeat. there's a lot of stuff to cover. I don't want guys to think, you know, it's you know, world history report where we have to, you know, get a lot of information or memorize it. You know, I want it to be upbeat, you know, guys positive, have an open mind, and, you know, learn up until our game. So I'll go in huddle, I'll break down film, or, you know, most of the time I'll send it to, you know, my whatever guys and like, hey, watch this game film, put, you know, a kicking play, punt play, you know, kick return, you know, what's their basic formation, what's their defense look like. So we'll go over that. So, you know, that Thursday, we're playing on a Friday, you know, that Thursday we'll go over it as a crew, talk mechanics, you know, that way we know where each other's going to be. Because, you know, I've worked clinics, camps, whatever, you know, even, you know, my college crew, I haven't taken a snap with them or haven't worked a scrimmage with them yet. Maybe because, you know, they're supplemental and they get put on our crew late or whatever. You know, you don't want to over officiate that guy's area because you don't know what he's doing, especially, you know, in a state championship game. So I just want to make sure, you know, we're all on the same page. We all got the same information. You know, we introduce ourselves to the coach by, you know, first name. The big thing with me is like, hey, when you go shake the coach's hand, out of respect, take your hat off. You know, go shake your hand, introduce yourself, and then, you know, and I'll do homework on the coach. You know, I ain't gonna lie, I'll Facebook stalk them to see what their, you know, their likes are. They're Cowboys, or, you know, they're into horses, cars, golf, whatever. You know, and, you know, my pregame isn't just, hey coach, you know, I'm going to Longhorn, I'm here to officiate your game, and I'll do the best I can. You know, it's like, hey, Leonard Longhorn, blah blah blah. Hey, you know, I'm here for the day. Is there any good, you know, bass spots to go fishing, or whatever? Or you know, where's the next car show, or what's your favorite car, or something. You know, kind of get them out of football. That way we can get on a personal level, and then it's a little bit easier to communicate with them throughout the game because, you know, popularity, you know, you know, everybody's belief, we don't just get off a Foot Locker at, you know, 5 o'clock and show up to the game on Friday and, you know, ref a football game. So a lot of preparation, you know, being ready for the game, watching film, things like that is kind of what my normal week for even a high school game. That's kind of what I do.
Thank you, Leonard, and thanks for going off the cuff there. I apologize for not warning you about that, but it was a question I just wanted to ask. So thank you.
You know, and that's great. I mean, and that's just, you know, I think that we've seen, you know, just every group that has taken the time and has bought into, you know, the feedback of their assigner, but just leaders in their group on, you know, effective ways to pregame, you know, even just little things like taking your hat off, shit, you know, when you have groups that buy into that type of system, you know, you just see that group just skyrocket in success, you know. And so just food for thought when you're thinking about preparation. And so with that, Mike, you know, you've worked plenty of postseason football and other sport and baseball. We can say baseball, right? So you have a lot of postseason experience in multiple sports, but in football, what qualities make a great postseason official?
Anybody can be. Let's go back to they put the work in, and if they want to be, everybody wants to be. We're back to that person that if you make a mistake, first thing you do, you got to own up to it. Because if you make a mistake in regular season, it carries over to the postseason. That's not good. So if you make a mistake, you got to own up to it and just eat it. Somebody that's prompt, somebody that looks sharp, somebody that gets in the rule book. They might not know all the stuff in there. None of us do, but they ask questions, they participate, they want to learn. They're always coming in, just like if we have a penalty, they're always coming in and asking what the penalty was and see where we mark it off from. They want to participate, they want to get better. Somebody that's a team player, somebody that hustles all the time. Like say another back to the uniform's always up to speed. The uniform's not yellow. When we talked about that a while ago, or gray, I guess I should say the white turns gray. But But back in the day, it was the heather gray pants in baseball. It would turn pink. So now we got the white stripes turning gray. So back on uniforms again, Dana, one of your favorite topics. I'm sorry, I had to bring that up.
Yeah.
I'm muting the wrong person.
Hold on, Mike. Hold on, Mike. There you go. You were accidentally muted. Sorry.
No, he's not unmuted yet.
Hold on. You might want to unmute yourself, Mike.
Yeah, sorry, Mike. I was trying to mute someone else for background noise and I accidentally muted you. That was my fault. You brought up uniforms and I just muted you.
Yeah, it's okay. Anyway, it's just somebody wants to put the work in and they do all the stuff that we've been talking about, doing the test, participating, going out there working with, trying to help the young guys coming up or middle-aged guys or older guys that are new to it. And just being a team player when it's on the field. Because when we're on the field, we're a team. There's 3 teams on the field. There's offense, a defense, a team on the right side, a team on the left side, and then there's our team. And just as long as we're all and covering our areas, just work as a team as far as knowing what your coverages are. Make sure you know your keys, especially in pass plays with the back judge and you got 2 wings. Make sure you guys go over that a lot. And just be like I say, be a good official. Hustle is very important. Your mechanics got to look good, and you got to work on your mechanics. And one thing I've always told officials, I don't care old or new, or old official, I mean, has been doing a long time. New official is somebody just starting. Age has nothing to do with it. Get in front of the mirror. Do your signals incomplete. Do your stopping the clock. When you see what you see in the mirror is what you see on the field. And when you give mechanics for incomplete and or stopping the clock, make sure you stopped and face up to the field. Don't do it running, giving the complete sign, the ball rolling down the field and you rolling down the field with it. Just try to look sharp. Just don't do anything that's going to take away and make you the object focal point. Let the game be the focal point.
And Leonard, for you, when selecting or sending postseason potential officials, what qualities do they have when you send those to Dana?
So it's pretty much the same thing. Attending meetings, are you participating? Are you mentoring anybody? Are you, you bringing the new officials in? And, perception, because everybody's going to make a mistake on the field. You're not always going to have correct calls throughout the season, but, how did you correct that mistake? Did you just, shrug your shoulders and keep on going? Or did you, I like when guys come to me like, hey, Leonard, I threw on this, I'm not 100% on it. What could I do mechanically to, be in a better position? Or, why wasn't this a hold? Or, whatever. And they're learning, and, whatever they learn, they can take back to their crew and get better. So, everything Mike said, plus, being a crew guy, nobody likes to work with that one guy where, you see him assigned to your crew to work, and then you have to travel 2 hours with them, or, down to Mountain Air, and then back with that same guy in the ride. So, being a crew guy, being prompt, looking the part, being sharp in the mechanics, all that stuff, it plays a factor.
Okay, so we're actually to the end of our scripted questions here. So, we've talked a lot about kind of pros and cons and challenges and rewards associated with serving as assigners. So for the 2 of you, what advice would you give to somebody who is interested in being an assigner, either at the local level or at the regional level? And Nate's saying don't do it, but that was not the correct answer. So Mike and Leonard, you'll have to come up with a different one. So Leonard, we'll go ahead and start with you on this one.
I would say, give it a shot, because, if you want to challenge yourself, you want to, build on your leadership skills, it's really your organizational skills, because I mean got to figure out when guys are blocking dates, you know, they're on vacation and they forget to do it in arbiter or whatever, you know, you got to keep all that organized, and you know, you kind of, everything reflects back to you. So now you're more invested in the association and the group, and you know how officials act, or you know, officiate during a junior high game, or you know, C team game, whatever. So yeah, I would encourage, you know, if you're interested and want to do it, you know, give it a shot. I mean, nobody's perfect. I didn't get a manual of how to assign when I started, so you know, it was just learn on the go, and you know, you make mistakes. Is, like I said, it's like on the field. You know, how are you going to correct it? How are you going to do better next time? And you know, just keep on trucking.
And Mike.
Oh, Mike, sorry.
Okay, no problem. What I always try to do, I pretty much know everybody down here in the Southwest, mostly in cruises. I know quite a few of the people in Alamo now. I know their schedules, and far as some of the people in Silver Sea and Villadosa. I think you gotta learn who your people are and their schedule. Try to learn a little bit about their family, how flexible they are at the last minute and stuff like that. That helps whenever you have sudden changes and you have to make a change. Like you know, there's a few of us that retired. I'm one of them, and I can pretty much, like if I wasn't the assigner, I've been asked to at the last minute to switch games, which wasn't a problem. But a lot of people that have families, you know that their families, of course, we all want our families always come first. And if they have family stuff, you know that they have it, that they can't switch. So just don't know that stuff. So that way you can get somebody that doesn't have it. Maybe somebody that's retired or just started officiating, and they're maybe a college student or a high school student. Know everybody's schedule. So if you have to make some switches the last minute, you'll be able to do that with the least amount of resistance. Let's see. And if you want to be a signer, start at the local level. Do the below varsities or the bantam. We have bantamweight down here. I think maybe Albuquerque has something they call Pop Warner. I'm not sure what they call it. And the skies, and these are the ones that are 5th, 6th, and 7th graders. They used to have a Nerf league down here too. Get in and start there, or start at the below varsity level, just to get a taste of it, to see if it's something that you like. Because if you get into this and it's like a full-time job, because they'll get changes. You'll wake up in the morning like I do at 4, and I'll have games decline because somebody didn't block their game. Then I've got to scramble, and I can't assign that game right then because I know I got chewed out by one of my officials for assigning a game at 4:30 in the morning, and it woke him up. So anyway, know your people, know their schedule, try to know their schedule, and just try to work with everybody. And you've got to, and if you're going to be a signer, that's what you need to know.
Man, if I chewed you out every time that I got a wake up call at 4 a.m., you're already Flacco,
No,
you would be nothing left.
No, you wake me up sometimes too, but I turn my phone off at night. I don't have the ring around at night.
Right. Hey,
Oh,
but
good.
while we're on the topic of assigning, I know that there was a question in the chat that came through. You know, and we'll start with, and obviously in our office, we don't micromanage the assigners. They assign how they're going to assign. We trust their assigning process, and so there is no right or wrong answer to this. It's really your preference. But Leonard, we'll start with you. Do you prefer having mixed crews throughout the season, or do you like to crew your crews up and kind of lead them? You know, what is your take on that?
I like to crew my guys up. It's a little easier for me because whatever information I get, I can just email it to, you know, the 5 or 6 crews that I have, and let the white hat, you know, distribute that information out instead of having to send it out to, you know, 30 something officials. So, and you know, it's something that I found it's working up here for the last couple of years. I think 19 I started assigning crews, and And, you know, the new guys that started, yeah, there's a lot of growth in it. I mean, because, you know, the guys that left, you know, now I have a couple new white hats this season, but they've been training the last 2 seasons to be a white hat. So, you know, they can, you know, it's not everything's on the white hat. You know, the guys that are white hats now have been, you know, scheduling the meetings, doing the pregame stuff, you know, trying to get out pregame information. So now they can take whatever they learned and apply it to their crew this year. So I like the crew thing. It's helping. And, you know, if we're short, then it kind of falls back onto that crew to officiate new, you know, or recruit new officials. So, you know, we're hitting up everybody at work. You know, I'm out here recruiting in the stands at the 7-on-7. So, you know, like a call, like, hey, we got position. I got a shirt in my bag. You know, come out here and help. So.
And Mike, you know, what is your preference when it comes to assigning crews, mixed crews? What is your process?
Well, I usually stick the umpire and the referee together, and usually one other guy, because our numbers just don't allow me to put 5 guys in 4. It doesn't work. If I could do that, yes, I would do that. But we have people in Alamo and we have people in Ruidoso and Silver City. Sometimes there's just not enough officials to cover all it. So a lot of times I will put the umpire and that white hat together the whole year and maybe one other official. But a lot of times it's just not feasible to, I mean, I wish it was, because we would do that. But if I had more officials, but I just don't have the number of officials to do that every week. And it makes it difficult, you know, because we work 5 man and we work 4 man some games. And it's just sometimes it's hard to do that. But if we had the numbers, yeah, I'll be for that.
Awesome. And you know, Leonard, you talked about kind of moving individuals into the white hat position, and that kind of, we had a question here that talks about, you know, how do you get folks trained in more than one position, especially with the shortage of refs? And maybe Mike, you can probably start off with that one, and then we'll.
Sure. What I do, like I'll, especially in the below varsity games, I work with the below varsity assigner, and we'll start plugging some guys in at the white hat position, but we'll also put varsity white hat on that game with them, just to kind of help them through there. And then on the wings positions, I'll switch them from sideline to sideline, and then some of the people I'll put at the back judge, and just so they can get a mix to see where their best position is to work. But majority of the guys are going to get work the wings, and then I got quite a few good back judges, and I've worked a few guys. I was training a few guys as a white hat the last couple of years, and they've been doing a lot of white hat games below varsity, and they did about half of their games at the varsity level as white hat last year. So just a little, it's just getting people experience at that position and then moving them in there.
Awesome. And Leonard?
Same thing. We use our sub-varsity level as kind of our training, and even the YAFL week will start. You know, one of the YAFL assigners, one of my high school officials. So, you know, we've already talked about that a couple of weeks ago. Like, hey, this is who I want to start. You know, white hat games. So we'll start at the 3rd, 4th, 5th grade level in YAFL to get them white hat games throughout the fall. And then that way, you know, depending on how they progress through the season, you know, maybe we'll try to get them some junior high games, and then, you know, C team JV games. Because, and, you know, if somebody comes up to me, you know, like, hey, Leonard, you know, I'm tired of working a wing, you know, I want to work a back judge or umpire, you know, I'm like, all right, well, we'll throw you on a C team crew, and you can work back judge or, you know, whatever. So, and I'll send, you know, even though I'm not working them, I'm usually at those JVC team games to watch and on the sideline to help kind of, you know, give them pointers or whatever. And if I can't make it to that game, you know, I'll send one of my veteran guys, like, hey, can you go watch, you know, so-and-so, you know, give them some pointers, like, give me some feedback, you know, tell me what you think. So, yeah, that's kind of how we use the lower level stuff to train our guys.
And really ultimately, I mean, I think you just have to communicate with your assigners. It goes back to the communication. If you want to work a different position, I doubt that any of our 5 regional assigners are going to tell you no. What they're going to do though is put you in a situation for you to succeed. And I think that, if you want to be a white hat or you want to be a back judge, you let them know, you express that, and they will find an opportunity to get you trained up and find a way to move you in. Because, any official, I believe, that can work multiple positions is probably the most useful to the assigner. And it is the thing. I mean, we go back to registering on time, but hey, be versatile and have the ability to work multiple positions, because then you're opening more doors for yourself. So just something that definitely is a good thing.
All right. Does anybody have any other questions for Leonard or Mike or for Nate and myself? If you're going to type something in, please feel free to do that. But I do want to thank Leonard and Mike for representing our assigner corps so well today. Our other assigners who are not with us today are Ken Murphy from the Central Region, Stephen Ottogone from the Northeast Region, and David Briseno from the Southeast Region. So, Mike and Leonard, thank you for carrying the banner for them today and being here with us and kind of giving us all some insight into what it is that you go through as assigners, your process, the highs and lows, all of that good stuff. It's I know that being an assigner is absolutely a challenging position and often thankless. So I will thank you publicly for everything that you do. And, especially this past year was such a mess, and we didn't have any issues with game coverage. And I do want to say, for the record, that our football assigners do a tremendous job of collaborating kind of behind the scenes. So many times they'll take care of games where they can't cover, so they need one of their assigning partners to help them, and it's covered without us having to get involved. So the teamwork and collaboration that goes on with those 5 individuals is outstanding and has always been. So I absolutely appreciate that, and you all are doing things in the best interest of making sure that student athletes play. So thank you so much for that.
Real quick, we don't really we know you both because you guys are both, multi-sport officials, baseball, other sport, softball, football, track and field. You cover a lot, but outside of officiating, what does Leonard Longhorn like to do outside of officiating?
Outside of officiating, man, that's whenever I have time. I like to drag my kids out to go ride bikes, go fishing, we'll go hiking. Sometimes it's a competitive kickball game in the park. And like tonight, since I'm gone all day working 7-on-7, we're gonna kick back and cook some s'mores in the fire pit tonight. So, but yeah, I try to spend as much time as I can with them, my family, my wife, because without their support, I wouldn't be able to travel and be gone as much as I am. And they understand and they're supportive, and they wish me well. So, yeah, that's outside of what I do. Officiating's biggest part of what I do and work, but the other part I dedicate it to my family.
Awesome. Mike?
Well, Nate, because you've seen it, I'm restoring a 61 Volkswagen Beetle body off restore, and I'm almost there. And I've been working on it since 2014 because it is quite expensive when you do a body off restore. And I'm looking at maybe early fall of having it on the street. So I enjoy doing that. And then I have another little pickup, 89 Chevy pickup. Don't know why I bought, but I'm doing a lot of stuff to that. I like to mess around with cars and do different things to them. I have all my life. It's a kind of a hobby. I mean, cars can be frustrating, and they can test your patience, and they can get your temper fired up, but something I like doing. So
And I will tell you, this car is pretty badass. It's I can't wait. Mike says he's not going to put it on the road at all, but he's got to at least at least a block, But I will say that Mike probably is the Las Cruces officials in all sports association like mechanic. I think every official at some point has had Mike work on their vehicle. So
Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. But
Guys, well, a lot of good comments in the chat for you guys, and just thank you so much, and thanks for what you do all season long and in the off season. And we hope that this year is a little less insane, and if it is insane this year, we hope it's for a completely different reason than last year. So have a good season as assigners, and officials. Please make contact with your assigners and just have that open line of communication with them as much as you can.
before you close it off, Dana, can I put a little comment in here first before you get off? Hey guys, I don't know how to say this, but we've all been with Dana for a long time. She's done a lot of stuff for us. She's went to bat for us a lot. I was on a Zoom meeting the other night, the NMOA board meeting, and we got her pretty wound up. So I don't want to get too carried away with that, Dana, but if you haven't reached out to Dana, either through email or phone call, just think about the stuff she's done for you positively. We've all not agreed with her all the time, but that's in anything in life. So if you have a chance, send her an email, give her a phone call, tell her how much you appreciate the time she's given to all of our sports, and she's gonna be missed. But I already told her, don't even look at buying a house over there, because I've already told them all the houses are sold. She's not
And the
buying
funny
that.
thing is, we aren't able to find a house, so I think you actually did make some
I
phone
jinxed
calls.
you. Okay, good.
I knew
Good.
it.
Yeah.
But Mike, thank you very much for that. And what Mike was alluding to is we had our executive board meeting on Thursday night, and yeah, I am a softie, and I think I cried for about 30 minutes during the board meeting, and then 2 hours after that. And it wasn't just like a little trickle of tears. It was the ugly cry, sobbing. I had no Kleenex anywhere. I was a mess. I think I just kind of needed a hose at one point, but the tears is because, I care and I love you guys, and I can't tell you enough. This has been an emotional couple of weeks, as you all probably saw in my last article about the last baseball game that I was at. And you don't realize until you're walking away from something, the impact that it's had on your life, on your family, on who you are as a human being. And I'm grateful every single day that for 24 years, I've gotten to walk through the doors of 6600 Palomas and work with you all and represent you all and fight for you all. I may not know everything there is to know about rules and mechanics, but I know how to passionately fight for people I love and care about. And that's been an absolute joy and honor for me. So thank you for letting me do that for you for as long as I have. It's been an absolute pleasure, even on the bad days. So thank you all for what you do and who you are. And Mike, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll log out and jump on the next session. That one is going to be made up of Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference officials and their supervisor. Their brand new supervisor may or may not. He's at an NFL clinic, but he more than likely is going to jump on for 5-10 minutes. So,
All right, cool. Thanks,
all
man.
right.
See you guys in a while.